At this point in Jesus' ministry, he was speaking to both the crowds and his disciples in the temple. He addressed the scribes and Pharisees, who were the religious leaders of the day. These men were supposed to teach God's law and guide people to righteousness, but Jesus exposed their hypocrisy and spiritual pride. Verse 2-3. The scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat. Jesus begins by acknowledging that the Pharisees occupy an important position. They interpret the law of Moses. He says, "So do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works they do." In other words, respect the law they teach because it comes from God, but don't imitate their behavior because they don't live what they preach. Lesson: God values obedience from the heart, not just outward religion or authority. Verse 4. They tie up heavy burdens, but they themselves will not move them with their finger. The Pharisees added many man-made rules and traditions that made people's lives difficult. They expected others to carry spiritual burdens, yet they themselves didn't help or live by those same rules. Lesson: true spiritual leaders help lift burdens, not add to them. Jesus himself said later in Matthew 11:30, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." Verse 5. They do all their deeds to be seen by others. Their motivation was not love for God, but desire for attention. They wanted people to notice how holy they looked. Jesus mentioned two examples. Phylacteries broad. These were small boxes with scriptures worn on the arm or forehead. They made theirs bigger to look extra religious. Fringes long. Tassels on their garments commanded by God. Numbers 15:38, but they exaggerated them for show. Lesson: religion without sincerity is empty showmanship. God looks at the heart, not appearance. 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. Verse 6-7. They loved the place of honor and being called rabbi. They loved the best seats in gatherings, public greetings, and being addressed with titles of respect. They wanted to feel superior, to be admired more than to serve. Lesson: pride turns spiritual service into self-promotion. Jesus reminds us that greatness in his kingdom comes from humility and service. Matthew 23:11-12. Verse 8-9. But you are not to be called rabbi. Call no man your father on earth. Jesus wasn't saying it's wrong to have teachers or fathers. He was teaching about spiritual equality and humility. He meant, don't seek or rely on earthly titles to define your worth. Remember that you have one true teacher, Christ, and one true Father, God in heaven. Lesson: in God's family, we are brothers and sisters. No one is higher than another. True.